goodness, y'all. Are you here? Are you with me? Oh, sorry. Like, I wanted to bring this to you right away. I was actually laying on the couch, just kind of waiting and doing some research for tonight's live with CJ on Idaho. And one of you lovely people, thank you so much, you know who you are, sent me this. Oh my God, have you heard? According to Fox 59, the Indiana Supreme Court has decided to reinstate the original. I'm so excited. Like, I'm so excited. Yeah, they've decided to reinstate the defense team. And let me just show you, okay? Let's just go right to it. Let's look at it together. I haven't even read the whole article. Can't even talk. I feel like puking. Hey, Melissa, how are you doing? Um, yeah, let's look at this. Well, let me see if I can figure out what I'm doing here. Uh, there we go. There we go. Um, yeah, and I'm not gonna be able to see you for a second because I'm gonna make this really big. Let's read this. Oh my God. I don't even know what to say. Okay, so this is today. Indianapolis Supreme Court, the Indiana Supreme Court ordered that Richard Allen's original defense team be reinstated on the high profile murder case after Judge Frangol previously removed the pair for being grossly negligent. We've all had a problem with that. On Thursday, attorneys representing Alan Gull and the Indiana Attorney General's office pled their case before the Indiana Supreme Court surrounding a myriad of issues that ground the highly publicized case to ground. God, I'm so excited I can't read. Yeah, and I'm excited because this is a step forward, I feel, in the due process. Okay. Wow, I didn't think we'd have a decision today. All right, let me go where I can see this and just read it to you. Okay, I might have to get my glasses anyway. Allen is charged with 2 counts of murder in the February 2017 deaths of Abby Williams and Liberty German on the Monon High Bridge in Delphi. Okay, now, if you didn't hear this already, there's already been some breaking news. We'll talk about that in a second. They have upped his charges to murder 1. Let's get through this article and we'll talk about that. He and his attorneys have been pushing to remove Judge Frangol from proceeding over the case after the judge dismissed his original defense team. Gull has argued her removal of the defense team was warranted due to finding the attorneys grossly negligent after an evidence leak attributed to one of the attorneys led to crime scene images appearing online. First of all, let me take issue with that. Because as far as I know, those images, although a lot of creators and people had them, no one showed them to my knowledge. Okay, so they weren't online for the whole public to see. There were people who did see them. Allen, meanwhile, has contended that Gull overstepped her authority by removing his chosen defense team and setting back his trial by nearly a year. Yeah. The Indiana Attorney General's office previously weighed in on the high-profile case by arguing that Allen's move to bring his complaint before the Indiana Supreme Court was the improper legal avenue and that Allen and his defense team should have been using the appeal process. Yeah, that when we watched that earlier this morning, I was like, oh, yeah. I was hoping that wouldn't go badly. While the Indiana Supreme Court ultimately sided with Allen about the reinstatement of his defense team, the court did not remove Gull from the case. Oh, isn't this going to be fun, right? Oh, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. It's going to be a circus. That's just my feeling, because how's she going to preside over this case after taking this to the Supreme Court? She's got to be angry about it. The unmitigated gall. Maybe it's the unmitigated goal. What about that? I'm giddy. I'm happy because this is due process. I'm giddy about this, okay? And not about whether he's innocent or guilty. While the Indiana Supreme Court ultimately sided with him, they didn't remove her from the case. The court also denied Allen's request to order the double murder trial to commence within 70 days. Okay, so they're still putting it off. That's not great, but let me say this. Even though that does not make us happy, remember that Rozzi and Baldwin have to, kind of catch back up. Now, on the down low, do I think they were still keeping up with this case in case? This case in case? I think they were. But we had the holidays and they didn't know. They have other cases to handle and, other jobs to do. So they couldn't have been spending as much time as they would have had this never happened. So are they going to need some time to catch up? I think so. I think that's only fair to Mr. Allen. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Standing before the High Court on Thursday, Mark Lemon argued on behalf of Allen, with one of his main points being that no matter if the attorneys were found ineffective or not, Allen has a right to choose his own counsel. Yes, that is the point. That is his Sixth Amendment right to choose his own counsel, as it's yours, as it's mine, ineffective or not. You could hire Bozo to defend you, but if that's who you want, that is your constitutional right. Do you understand what I'm saying? Earlier in the program, I had someone say, Ted Bundy represented himself. Was that stupid? Yes, it was. I don't think that it just made the case easier. In my opinion, he would have still been found guilty. Whatever. But that is the point. We are just happy with due process. Okay, that's all we're asking for is due process. Get into the ins and outs and the evidence later. That's not what this is about. So let's see what else they're saying here. All right, the High Court mulled this point by stating that if a defendant had the right to represent themselves, even if a judge did not recommend it, remember what I just said about Bundy, then could not a defendant equally have a right to waive any concerns with their counsel and keep said counsel if made aware of these concerns? Yes. Part of Lehman's argument was also that by removing Allen's original defense team of Bradley, Rozzi, and Andrew J. Baldwin, the court had jeopardized their strategy of invoking a speedy trial and catching the prosecution on their back foot. I honestly think that did happen. And that's why the Delphi community creators, everybody, they lost their minds. September 19th of 2023, when that Frank's motion dropped, everybody lost their dang minds. Okay? The High Court pointed out, this bothered me too, that however, that Rozzi and Baldwin had 2 months to file for a speedy trial and never did. I'm not really sure what was up or if they thought they were out. Because remember, and this may be a moot point, okay? But remember that Judge Gold had told them, what was it, on the 12th or something of October, to not do anything else on the case, and they had a hearing coming up on the 19th, and they weren't allowed to work on the case at all. So after that point, after that conversation, they could not have done anything else. And they did get their own representation because they knew what was coming. The handwriting was on the wall. This is more than just a choice of counsel case. This is an interference of counsel. This is the right to counsel itself, because the right to counsel is meaningless. If a judge can step in and say, stop all work. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes. Matt Gutwein, arguing on behalf of Judge Fran Gold, continued to advocate that the trial judge had the authority to remove Allen's counsel due to ineffectiveness. Not really, really. And worries about conflict of interest. What conflict of interest? Is it the fact that the prosecution lied in their affidavits and had a judge sign off on it? Now, I would think that would be a conflict of interest for the prosecution. Some of that I don't understand the conflict of interest. I really don't. Ineffectiveness, I highly disagree. I think they were too effective, and they brought up some very real questions. Now, whether there is evidence to refute all of what the defense said, I don't know. We'll find out at trial. But ineffective is not what I would call Rozzi and Baldwin, okay? Not by any shot. Gutwein also pointed out that Gold was prepared to hold a hearing to judge if the attorneys were negligent or not in their handling of the case, but Rozzi and Baldwin chose to withdraw from the case instead of taking the matter before the public in a hearing. Okay, did y'all listen to him argue that? But yet she said nothing. Basically, Gold said nothing that you say is going to make a difference. She had her mind made up. There was no point for a hearing at all. So why would they? So to me, that was just a bunch of fluff. She had made it clear she wasn't going to allow them on the case. One of the main concerns mulled by the High Court and Gutwein was whether allowing Allen to waive his concerns and keep Baldwin and Rozzi on board as his defense team would just open up the case to be appealed later, with Allen turning around and arguing that he went to trial with ineffective counsel. Yeah, well, look, an appeal could be made for a lot of reasons already, okay? Already. If the things in the Franks motion are true, the whole thing needs to be thrown out, okay? And that might be a bad thing, but it would be, in my opinion, it would be more of a chance of a appeal and having the whole case overturned if you took his danged attorneys away that he asked for. That's going to be the bigger thing, not whether they were effective. I mean, because actually on an appeal, if he loses this case and Richard Allen says, I want to appeal the verdict because I had ineffective counsel, well, now you've already gone to the Supreme Court saying this is who you want. So I think that actually takes away more of that, they'll argue this, whatever. But let's go on. We already have a polluted jury pool because of the inordinate pretrial publicity that this case has garnered, and the further disclosure of highly confidential inflammatory material further pollutes that jury pool. I don't think, well, we'll talk about the leak in a minute. This makes me really want to puke, okay? Angela Sanchez, representing the Attorney General's office, continued to argue her office's stance that Allen was pursuing the incorrect legal avenue, okay, and that the appeal process was the proper course of action for Allen's concerns. Now, I did, in listening to that today, I do remember the Supreme Court, one of the justices, asking the defense, or Richard Allen's representatives, why didn't you do this on a state level? And there was an answer to that. I am not a legal guru, so I couldn't say, but I thought that my understanding is if you had, that they had to go Supreme Court. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. All right. I'm not going to tell you that I know everything about legal because I don't. Sanchez also questioned whether the court truthfully knew what exactly it was Allen wanted, since his desires to keep Rozzi and Baldwin were presented in the court secondhand. She questions Allen's competence in understanding and making such an impactful decision of waving away the concern of ineffectiveness and negligence brought forward by Gull and about his counsel. Look, the guy has already written to you, okay? There was a letter to the judge from Richard Allen saying, I am aware of the circumstances of the leak. I still want these guys as my counsel. Now, if that letter had been scribbled with his toes and didn't make any sense, if it was not intelligible, then I'd say, yeah, just disregard that whole thing because he's obviously in La La Land, right? We don't know what's going on. Okay, there's all kind of stuff going on, accusations against the DOC. We don't know. But what I'm saying is that was a intelligent letter by a reasonable person that made sense. It was cohesive. There was nothing about that letter that I would look at, even from a medical standpoint, and say, this guy's cheese has slid off his cracker. Okay? It wasn't like that. It was a good letter. It made sense. He already gave that to you, Judge Gull. So what is this? What is this? How, secondhand stuff, and does he really know what he's doing? Well, it sounds like me. Lehman rebutted this, however, by pointing to a letter sent by Allen to the court where he argued to keep Rozzi and Baldwin as his counsel despite the evidence leak. Of course he did. And we all saw that. I'm really struggling with why Allen can't make that decision if it's in his best interest, and let's get this case moving again, said Chief Justice Loretta Rush. Absolutely. It is his decision. That's the whole point, y'all. It's his decision, not yours, not mine, not what I think. None of that. Sanchez pointed out that the Indiana Supreme Court has absolutely no absolute duty to order anything in hearing these arguments on Thursday. Lehman stated his client would accept whatever the court's ruling is. Well, okay, good, because they've ruled. After hearing all the arguments, the High Court adjourned to discuss the case and said the court would come to a decision as soon as possible. Wow, they really did that, didn't they? It's only been a few hours. Holy moly. Several hours later, the court released their decision by ordering the reinstatement of Rozzi and Baldwin, but denying Allen's other request to remove the judge and order the trial to commence within 70 days. So, what have we got so far? Well, we've got some good defense attorneys. It's not everything that they asked for, but it is the biggest thing, I think, for Richard Allen was to have the defense that he wanted. It's not going to be in 70 days. Hopefully it's going to be before October, because I don't see why they would drag it on out. But we'll talk about that too when I get done with this. As of now, the trial remains set for October. To watch the full arguments, blah, 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 and you can go to that. You can also go, you can probably see that on I think that's going to be it, on the Indiana Supreme Court website. That's where we watched it from earlier, and that's what we're doing. Now, let me see what you're saying. Why is it so fuzzy? Is it me? Am I having, okay, we're getting maybe a little bit of freezing rain here. I don't know what's going on. This whole thing looks fuzzy to me, but maybe it's just me. All right, let me see what you all are saying. Well, I want to catch up with you. You know, I love your comments. Hey, CJ. Y'all, I'm going to be with CJ later tonight. We're going to be talking Idaho. Look, that case is turning into a mini Delphi with all the craziness going on. If you haven't been following it, geez Louise. All right. Melissa, Sandy D. Yay, due process. Yes, absolutely. I am so excited about this, y'all. I'm not going to keep this long. Mark was awesome. I think so. Y'all, you know what? If you watch my, hi, Chevy Killer. If you watched with me earlier today, you know that we were all, when that whole thing first started, we were like, I already feel like throwing up because I've been sick for days, some kind of stomach virus from Hades. But if you watch that, we were all in the beginning when, like, the defense was presenting their case, had knots in my stomach. It seemed to me that the Supreme Court was, I don't know, it just seemed like they weren't really receptive to what he was saying. And then you had the state come up, or the AG's office, the people argue against the petition. And, she was really harsh on them. And I thought, this was my thought, but it's Indiana. We all know how corrupt it can be. My thought was, she is saying right here that he has the right, and she was arguing back with him, saying he has the right to counsel. That's what I got from it. So I thought, if they do not rule in this way, then she's going exactly against what she has already said. Now, what do y'all think? Okay, I'm going to give this about 5 more minutes, and I'm out of here because I've got to research for tonight, and I'm probably going to go live tomorrow with something else. Wow, something very disturbing tomorrow. But the leak, okay? I've said it a million times. Those pictures have been out there. They've been out there for years. All right? And if you're going to talk about one leak, then why are you not talking about all the other leaks from law enforcement and from the prosecution side that's been going on? People who have said on TV, Barbara McDonald said she was getting info from LE. And that's like a major network. And what about all these other people that are getting information from LE? You tell me how that's different. Nobody, in spite of what I see right here in this article, I have seen not one creator put those photos out there. Not one. Now, if I'm wrong, correct me, because I think that would have blown up. Everybody who received those photos kept them under wraps. So how are you tainting a jury pool when those photos are not out there? And secondly, even if they were out there, the description in the Franks motion was to a T. They did not need those photos to be out there. Okay, it didn't help the defense at all. As you see, the problem it caused. Hey, Hoosier. Yes, I'm glad you said that. What it means for the Franks motion, yeah, they're going to have to hear it. They're going to have to hear the Franks motion now, because that is what Rozzi and Baldwin, and in my opinion, okay, this is just me talking. In my opinion, that is the reason that Gull kicked them off the case, because she didn't want that Franks motion. Because we all know that there are lies in the affidavits. Okay, that's already been established. What Tony Liggett said, what Tobe Lisenby said, what Nick McClellan said, what Jerry Holman said about the Odinists, and they can't find it. It was BS. And that right there is going to be a huge problem. Huge. And if they obtained this information under a false pretense, under lies, and had a judge sign off on it, my God. So I see today why Nick McClellan wanted to up this to murder 1. Let me tell you another thing. The reason, hey, Carol, I'm glad to see you. Honestly, Carol, for y'all that have listened to Carol's story, I'm going to be talking about some more stuff tomorrow evening on MK Ultra, and stuff that is going to blow your mind. Okay. Hey, Cherry. Thank you. I feel like I look like a turnip right now, but I've just not been feeling good. All right. So here's the thing, y'all. Back to what I was saying. This didn't help the defense. Okay. Those pictures being leaked is a whole fiasco, and there are far more creators involved in this and the leak than y'all even want to know. And I really don't care. All right. I don't care who they are. I'm not out to crucify anybody. What I'm saying is that those pictures did not make a difference at all. All right. Now, what does make a difference, and I'm surprised that Nick McClelland did not make this motion to charge Richard Allen with murder one a long time ago. Because some of us, not most of us, but some of us have been saying, hey, especially with this whole fiasco of the leak and yada, 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 we've been saying, hey, you're looking at a red herring here because they didn't even charge him with murder one. They charged him pretty much with kidnapping, right? Assisting, not being the actual or only perpetrator, just his involvement. And so, I'm like, why aren't they looking for the perpetrator? We're making all this noise and there's still a perpetrator out here and nobody seems to be concerned about it because they didn't even charge Allen with that. So now, today, officially, Nick is doing that. Let me tell you why he's doing this, and let me tell you what my concerns are. After reading that affidavit from his new old attorneys from Screamin' and Liberato, who now, I guess they were hoping the Supreme Court would rule this way, and then they could take one stand, and then they're out of it, right? They agreed with Rozzi and Baldwin, saying, hey, it's dangerous for him to be in DOC. There are odious here. He's being threatened. He's being mistreated. All of these things that I actually said, months ago were standard. Now that I look at it in detail, I'm like, oh, heck no, that ain't standard. No, that's not standard practice. Do I think, yeah. Oh, hello, Chris Owens. No, is the trial happening sooner? Probably sooner than October, but not like it was, not within 70 days. I'm hoping maybe I don't know. I'm going to hope by April or early summer at the latest. I don't know. We'll see what Rozzi and Baldwin do. But yeah, so you have the new that are now the old attorneys now agreeing with the first attorneys, saying that he's being mistreated, he needs to be moved, and that's huge because let me tell you, people, what I'm thinking. Now you have the judge who's going to be all ticked off. You've got Nick McClelland who's changed the charges. It is my opinion only. They want to off. This is my opinion. They want to off Richard Allen in prison so that this trial does not take place. That is my opinion only, okay? That's what I think. They are making it so difficult for him. They're making it... it's very dangerous, okay? It's very dangerous, and it would be easy to say, oh, well, prison conditions. Yeah, well, he shouldn't be in prison, okay? He could go to another county. He could go to Cass County. They just built a new county jail. Come on. Let's see. What are you saying, Sandy D? Where are the added detectives that Carter spoke of to go back over all the tips? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't believe. Nick is butthurt. He probably is. But, look, I don't know whether Richard Allen is guilty or innocent. What I do know is the evidence against him that we have seen is highly sus. So I am sure now, yeah, that Frank's motion is going to have to be heard. Do I think... I personally think Gull is going to be under a microscope listening to that. I do. Everybody's going to be challenging every word. Not that we're anybody, but there's enough people to cause a really big stink about this, and we're all going to be watching her like a hawk to see if she is fair, considering the situation. I would hope that would make her watch her P's and Q's. Gull is probably terribly upset about this whole thing, too. I imagine she is, because, you did one thing, the Supreme Court overturned it. In my opinion, this is what I think should happen, okay? you know, right or wrong, I'm not, I don't know. I do not personally know Gull. I've not heard great things. I've not observed great things, but I don't know her. Okay. So I can't really weigh in on what kind of person that she is from experience. What I can say is if it were me and I were a judge that, I'm so sorry, Mina. Hush, hush. Sorry, I don't mean to scream at y'all. She sees a cat. It's it's a major ordeal. Stop it, baby. Um, if it were me and I made a ruling like this and the Supreme Court overturned it, I would be butthurt. I would be upset. Uh, I would be livid. Okay, I can only imagine that that's how she feels. Now, if I were in her position and I just got a promotion, you know what I'd do? I'd save everybody the trouble, and I wouldn't want to go into court under a microscope because you know that's what's going to happen. I would say, you know what? I recuse myself because my new position, the new job duties I have, I cannot give the time and attention to this case. And then that would be her giving herself a way out. All right. Would we get a better judge? I don't know. There's no guarantee that if Gull is not the judge, that we're going to get anybody better. Who knows? No, Melissa, they did not let Gull go. She will still be on the case. Because Samantha, I'm sorry. I'm so. Hold on, just a second. Did y'all hear that? I hope not. I hope I muted that. Good to see you, Samantha Springman. Let's see. It didn't let Gull go. No, she will be there. Unless, like I said, she finds a reason. And in my opinion, I think that they should. What is it with all these cases being sketchy? Yeah, AF, when it's 2024 with the technology and training advancements we have day by day. Exactly, CJ. You know, this is honestly, we both started about close to the same time last year, and we were both covering both cases, and then you went Idaho and Delphi. The reason, well, I was very intrigued by Delphi. But the other reason is I backed off Idaho is because I thought they had the right person. And I thought this is just gonna, I saw more in depth to me at the time on Delphi. But boy, was I wrong. Idaho has turned into a dog and pony show, just like Delphi, with so many questions. The IgG, like the DNA, all the things. If you haven't been following Idaho and all the questions and the things that come up and all of the behind the scenes, man, it really is a lot like Delphi. Okay, and that's why I'm trying to get back into Idaho now. I got to catch up. So if you don't watch the Evil CJ show, please, you need to check that out. Like, he goes over everything. He knows stuff. And then everybody else wants to come out with it when he's already done it. Because, he's just that good. Yes, please, please. Is this your link? I hope it's your link, CJ. Yes. Because I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to put people's links up there. You know me. But yeah. So here we are in this situation, and I feel like it would be best for Judge Gull to cite reasons that she's stepping down. I don't know if she will. She might be just mad enough to try to throw a bunch of wrenches in the thing, but I don't think that she is going to want to hear that Frank's motion. I know I wouldn't. I've read it, every single page, and I really need to read it again 2 or 3 times. But I'm telling you, that's a tough one. And so, and maybe that's why, okay? Now let's stop and think about this. Maybe that's why they're saying we're not going to do this in 70 days, because they know you still have this motion. If you've got Baldwin and Rozzi back, then we've still got the Franks motion on the table. They may, I don't know if they're going to have to, you know, put it in writing again. I don't know if they're going to have to refile it or if it's sitting there. I don't know how that works after so long. But look, they're going to have to prepare for that, because remember, if the Franks motion goes badly for the prosecution, this evidence they have against Richard Allen is going to be tossed out. If they toss out what they've already got, what do you have to charge him with? There might not even be a trial. So let's hope, I do want to know what all the evidence is, okay? I really do. I really want to know if Allen was complicit in anything. However, I also know what the Franks motion is about, and look, that's not due process. That's everything that they said was highly questionable, and I don't want that. I wouldn't want that if it was me or you or anybody else. Okay. Yes, Sandy D, it makes you wonder who they're protecting. I can tell you who they're protecting. You want to know who they're protecting? Until I open my mouth. I've said it a bunch of times. Like, so much of even the evidence we know is crap. Okay, all those testimonies in the PCA about the time and what Sarah Carbaugh saw and what Betty, I can't remember the witness statements. Okay, the time, the witness statements, the car in question, and where it was parked. Like, look, according to Franks, it's all made up. So what do they have? Nothing. If you got something on Richard Allen, bring it. Bring it. If he's the perpetrator, then bring it, because guess what? The truth is what we want. Okay, not made up stuff, not things that you had a judge sign off on that were lies. We want the truth. If you've got evidence, real evidence that he's guilty, then show me, because I want to know, because I want justice for Abby and Libby. I don't give a flying rat's patootie who it is, okay? I don't care if it's the sheriff. I don't care if it's Doug Carter. I don't care who it is. I want justice for these girls, but I want the right person. I don't want some, blow sunshine up my skirt and tell me it's somebody else so I can go to bed thinking that there was justice while somebody is in jail, languishing away, being tormented or whatever, and their life taken away because of some nonsense that you want to cover up. That is my problem, okay? That is my problem with the whole thing. So, truth. That's all we want, people. That's all we want. And the real version of truth. Okay, I'm off my rant. Lord Jesus. All right, I'm gonna get off here. How do you? Oh, okay, that was for me. Y'all, please go subscribe to Evil CJ. Shane Evans and Tobe. Hey, I want to tell you something. Wouldn't surprise me. You look at those pictures. All I got to say, if you ever question, you can go back on my channel and find it. You ever question what that bridge guy looked like? Go look at the original photo in the Pharaoh's Tribune. It looks nothing like the bridge guy that they are selling you on. All right, that's all I got to say about that. So, all right, now I'm gonna go again. I am really, really excited that Rozzi and Baldwin are back on the case. Wow, the Franks motion. I'm excited. Like, I want to know details. And look, I want to tell you this too. For people who think that I'm one-sided, if what Rozzi and Baldwin said was untrue in the Franks motion, then I want to know that too. Okay? I want to know. Now, I don't know how they could get by with citing the document and the page and everything and the exact quote, because that came from somewhere, right? Uh, but if that is untrue, then I want to know that too. All right. It's at the end of the day, it's all about justice and putting the right people behind bars and getting, look, we can't get their lives back. Let's at least get justice for Abby and Libby. Okay. I thank you so much for being here. Um, I love you all. Like, you have no idea how much I enjoy talking to you and listening to you. And I will be talking Idaho with CJ later and something else tomorrow. I want to tell you something. We're going to be talking tomorrow about, let me just give you a heads up. I'm not sure what time tomorrow. It may be evening. Um, we're going to be talking about things that you didn't know. It's very disturbing. It is about MK Ultra and mind control, and it is about implants and the way that you could be being controlled today. Look, you have no idea. It's scary. It's really scary. But like, look, somebody's got to say it. YouTube hates me because I talk about Freemasons and MK Ultra and CIA and all this stuff. Hey, I don't care. I don't care. You know what? If you don't like it, there are other platforms. I don't want to go to another platform, but I would if I had to. You're not going to stop me from speaking truth as I know it. Let me tell you something. If I find out I'm wrong, if I find out I'm wrong about everything about Richard Allen, I will get on here and I will tell you I was wrong. I've already told you I was wrong about the initial way I saw his incarceration. I've changed my opinion a good bit on that. So anyway, all right, stay safe out there. Y'all, it's cold, it's freezing. Stay off the roads if it's bad and you don't have to be out there. And whatever you do, please just stay silky. Bye bye.